Hello, my name is Mark Reed and I'm a Professor of Socio-Technical Innovation at Newcastle University and Principal Investigator of the Peatland Tipping Points project that has sought to understand how peatlands around the UK might respond to climate change and changes in policy and how we manage these environments that might lead to abrupt and potentially irreversible changes or tipping points in the services that we as society get from these environments. Our most important carbon stores under our feet is in peat bogs, not in our trees. In the UK, they're important for water quality, for flood risk alleviation, biodiversity, etc. But the problem is that the majority of them have been degraded in various ways, whether that be through wildfire or through drainage, and as a result, that is a cost to society. Fixing that problem is both important and expensive. It's important because peat bogs are part of the land use sector, which is a problem in terms of the UK meeting its Paris Agreement commitments to reduce our emissions to net zero. And it's expensive because many of these environments are really quite remote. So to raise our game to that challenge, we've been looking at how we might blend public and private finance using the Peatland Code that enables private investors to invest in peatland restoration for the climate and other benefits that you get. Now, the Peatland Code sat alongside the Woodland Carbon Code, our other regional carbon market in the UK, and something called Landscape Enterprise Networks in DEFRA's 25-year environment plan. And as a team, we've been looking at how we might be able to integrate these three private ecosystem service markets. Now, landscape enterprise networks work quite differently to these two regional carbon markets. They were developed originally by 3Keel with Nestle, although this is an open source mechanism, and there are a number of these now across the UK that don't involve Nestle. What we're trying to do now is to integrate mitigation of climate change and a bunch of other environmental benefits on farm through on-farm interventions with woodland planting and with peatland restoration now at a landscape scale. Landscape enterprise networks also pool investment, looking at a range of corporations, businesses that have dependencies on natural capital across a landscape, and then to pool that investment so we get over the free rider problem where people say, well, why would I invest when my competitors will benefit from them? And it's surprising the level of investment that this is attracting and the level of interest that we're getting in this as an approach now across the UK. What for me is really exciting about this is that this is moving out of the box of corporate social responsibility or CSR and into a box which is all about reducing risk. So the majority of these companies have a variety of climate-related risks on their risk register and are thinking about creative ways in which they might be able to reduce those risks, whether those be risks to their assets or to their supply chains, etc. And so what we're offering through these integrated landscape scale projects are a range of different interventions that might reduce those risks. And at the same time get a win for the landowners, the farmers, because they've now diversified their income to be able to get money for ecosystem services alongside the commodities that they might traditionally sell. And of course, there is the benefit for the environment as well. We now have more resilient landscapes that are more able to adapt to some of the threats from climate change, whilst actually tackling the underpinning problem by creating landscapes that are absorbing carbon where possible and certainly reducing greenhouse gas emissions. And as a result of those interventions now, we have these more resilient, sustainable landscapes that are providing benefits not only to the people who live and work on them and the companies who are investing, but to society as well. So a triple win for business, for landowners and farmers, and for the environment. Let's think more holistically, if we can, about what role business might play in the future of climate mitigation across the UK in the land use sector.